Hello and welcome to Gee That's Good. I'm Beth G, here to provide you with short but detailed book reviews, and don't worry, there's no spoilers here. Today's book is Insomnia by Sarah Pinborough.
Emma can't sleep. Check the windows. It's been getting like this since her big 4-0 started getting closer. And in the unthinkable because of it. Look in on the children. Is that what's happening to Emma? Her mother stopped sleeping just before her 40th birthday too.
Can't she sleep?
I absolutely love this, and if you're a fan of her book Behind Her Eyes, which was recently made into a TV show on Netflix, then you'll really enjoy this latest one by her. I recommend this book if you like the following 3 things: slow burns, fantasy, and horror. So I'll delve into each of those bits a little bit more. Insomnia kind of meanders to the climax, and for me, who enjoys a fast-paced piece generally, I actually really didn't mind. Sarah Pinborough's voice is so detailed, not in a dull way, like, you know, she doesn't go into the type of brick of a house. It's always like watching a movie, and she has this talent for scattering little nuggets of action throughout the plot. So the pace of the book doesn't feel slow because you're headed in one direction and then suddenly another. Exactly what you want with a thriller, really, but equally she takes the time to explore each of these avenues and build up to the ultimate conclusion. You know, I know I just described this as a thriller, but I wouldn't say that Sarah Pinborough is a thriller writer in the traditional sense. There's all the ingredients there, but she also adds these little sprinkles of other genres. That can sometimes mean her books have quite the creative license. So if you're looking for kind of like a straight-laced, you know, Agatha Christie-esque plot, this perhaps isn't for you. However, if you haven't read her, I would suggest giving it a go, because I love a traditional whodunit just as much as Sarah Pinborough's kind of amalgamation of all these different genres. I think Claire Mackintosh describes her really perfectly on the front cover as the queen of the impossible. I just love that description. I think it really captures her style. It's not horror. You know, it's not a Woman in Black kind of book. Sarah Pinborough is incredible at building up a sense of dread. Without giving too much away, this is a book about a woman suffering with insomnia, hence the title, as her mother did. And she's wondering if she's going to follow in the same footsteps and slowly go mad. I'm pretty good with a scare, but I did feel quite uneasy reading it before bed. There's images that Sarah Pinborough conjures up that are not things you really want to be thinking about when you're tucked up with the light off. If you're a bit more of an over-imaginative soul, then I suggest reading this through the day. I'm not, you know, ashamed to admit that I did have to do that for some of the chapters. Okay, so delving into the plot in more detail, without spoilers, the main character, Emma, is approaching 40 and she can't sleep. The same thing happened to her mother as she was coming up to 40, and as a result, Emma and her sister Phoebe had a really traumatic childhood experience. Since then, Emma's made a real name for herself. She's a successful lawyer, about to make partner. She's got a really great family life, unlike, you know, her somewhat estranged sister. As Emma starts to suffer with insomnia, she starts to lose her grip on reality, and as the reader you are tossed and turned in all sorts of directions as you question her sanity with her. Emma acts out all these kind of rituals in an almost obsessive compulsive manner throughout the story, and it's just really unsettling for you as the reader as much as it is for Emma. And I loved it. This is a book that requires you to concentrate. There's a lot of characters, but I don't think it feels messy. Sometimes when you have, you know, kind of multiple characters to keep a track of, it can kind of feel really confusing, but it doesn't. It just means you have to focus a little bit. But equally, it was a really engrossing read, so it didn't feel like an effort. It took me longer to get into this book, but that could have been because I was also reading another book kind of at the same time, and I think I was further into that one than this one. Yeah, but once I kind of started focusing really on this one. As I said, it does require a bit more of concentration, so I think reading 2 books at the same time maybe wasn't the best idea. There's lots going on in this narrative. As I said, lots of different characters, lots of kind of little areas it weaves into and then darts out of. It just keeps you guessing. Despite that, there are several hints throughout, so if you're a keen detective you might be able to guess certain elements of it. There's a lot more to this narrative, but I'm going to just leave it there because I promise no spoilers. If you don't want a spoiler, my tip is also don't read the reviews on the back of the hard copy. There's one that slightly spoiled it for me. Thanks for that, Ian Rankin. But the blurb is safe, however, because sometimes in the blurb they also do that and it really annoys me. Why do that? I really love the fact that this book has really minute details and everything ties up. Everything in this book is answered. I have a love-hate relationship with books that don't answer questions, and also films that do the same. Pinborough has done this before in one of her books called The Death House. Fantastic book. I wasn't enamoured with the ending. I understood why she decided not to answer one of the questions because it wasn't the book's main focus, but for me it felt a bit incomplete and I was kind of left feeling frustrated. So I was really concerned when I picked up Insomnia that she would do the same thing to me. But she didn't. She rocked it. This book has the best ending, especially if you're an avid fan of Pinborough and you've read some of her books. I'm not saying which one, but overall, I'm giving it a gee, that's great rating. And as this channel is new, I'm going to give you a bit of context for what that means. So we have gee, that's bad. Gee, that's okay. Gee, that's good. Gee, that's great. 5 out of 5. The creme de la creme hits the G spot. So I hope that helps you make a decision as to whether Insomnia by Sarah Pinborough is, your next book choice. But whatever you decide you want to read, happy reading. And also, let me know, this is a new channel, what you thought in the comments below. And if you have any book recommendations as well, I'm always really keen to hear. Thanks very much. Bye.